back, everybody. I am Jay. He's Maddie. This is Yankee and the Brits pregame show. We're excited for a fun-filled Sunday of football.
I mean, a great way to kick the season off last week. Lots of fun results, lots of really interesting things to talk about for us in our Thursday review shows. But it's another week of football, new storylines to be written. Very, very exciting.
Sorry if I look really tired, everybody. I stayed up to watch Coach Prime win that game last night with Colorado, so a little tired.
What a crazy start to the season. Like, I don't watch a lot of I watch college football when I'm watching tape for our draft shows. That's when I watch college football. But what a crazy. So the fact that even I know how to talk about this shows the effect that Coach Prime is having on Colorado. But what a crazy start for them. Crazy start to the season. How did the US kind of envisage this going? Because I don't watch loads of coverage. Like, did they all expect Coach Prime to be so
No,
on it from the start?
the talking heads for sure. It was nothing but hate. They're not going to win fucking 4 games. They're not. Oh, they have 80 transfer portal guys. That'll never work. That is not how you do it. Like, you don't do it this way. He's bringing guys from a smaller school. You know, it was all that hate. But there's don't get me wrong. There's been some people been on the prime time train from the beginning. I was somewhere in the middle. Like, I thought he would do really good and turn Colorado around. I just didn't think he'd do it the first 3 games the way he's doing, right?
Yeah.
So, but actually, it's a good way to segue into something too, Maddie, is there's a lot of hidden racism in the whole Coach Prime thing because, like, I see a lot of people throwing a lot of hate at him online, and, you know, they'll say stuff like, oh, he needs to grow up. He's got a nickname named Prime. And then people start arguing with him and their true colors come out in the argument on why they hate him, you know?
Yeah.
The same thing as we were going to talk about this. They brought up with Alexander Madsen and how awful the things that were said to him were. Like, we're getting to a point in this country and around the world, maybe, but it's 2023, guys. It's not acceptable anymore to throw your hate, no matter how you want to throw it in DMs or whatever. Like, it's not okay.
Yeah, it's a crazy thing. It's just a crazy thing to do, especially it's a crazy thing to do, especially online. And I mean, I get the idea that online, like, you're not going to face repercussions because he's not going to punch you square in the mouth. But also, he has your entire identity if you do it online. And to add to that, you have the whole time that you're typing out the message and the time where you press send to decide to send that message. Like, you have all of that time to take into account what you're saying, and you still do it. That is solid racism. Because he could have got the point across. The point of hold on to the fucking ball and don't drop it. I'm sure he got that a lot in comments. I'm sure he got that a lot. But the added racism to it, that is a decision. And I say, make an example of this man, find him, and just put him to the sword in terms of not put him to the sword. Sorry, death penalty is a thing in America. Need to remember that. But, you know, like, give him long sentence time.
Well, you can't get in trouble for that in America, anything he did, because of free speech. But
Yeah.
It's like,
it's inciting hatred. That's not free speech.
well,
Sorry.
it is here. Like, the thing is if you want, okay, I am hard on Justin Fields. I am hard on Dak Prescott. And guys, if you want to talk about their performance, that's one thing. Like, it's entertainment at that point. You can talk about their performance. You're a fan. It's when it gets personal, right? Like, when it gets racist, or you bring somebody's family into it or something like that, then it's not okay. And the fact that he had over 60 DMs that were distasteful in over a fucking football game, where you guys can be mad that he didn't help you on your fantasy team. I actually think Maddie, if I'm right, has him on his fantasy team. But
yeah, I picked him, and
maybe somebody should be mad that the offensive line didn't block for anybody.
Yeah.
That, I mean, but that's not even the point. It's like the ignorance is so deep that you don't even realize what the root of the problem is.
Yeah. It's When I saw that, it was horrible to see. I think it was quite affronting for me because I'd like just seeing it written down in those plain words because UK football has dealt with it. English football has dealt with it during when 3 black players who like English, but black, like missed penalties to win England the Euros.
Um,
They received a lot of hatred being like, "Oh, why are you even playing for our country? Go back to your own country," and stuff like that,
I
and it's
watched some documentary about hate in European soccer some years back where they would like throw peanuts and bananas at the black players and different things, and it was
yeah.
ridiculous.
Yeah, Eastern Europe can get really hard, on it as well, like, several countries have been banned from having their fans in the stadiums, on a couple of occasions for racist comments and things like that, but that's the right thing to do, like, ban everybody, like, ban everyone, and then everybody turns in on each other, and you kind of get it sorted out, so it leaves some accountability for it, but I wonder what the NFL is gonna do about it, like, what can they do about it?
I don't
What
know. The
have the
Vikings put
Vikings
out a
gonna do about it?
statement, but what more can the
Yeah,
Vikings do too?
that
You know what I mean?
yeah,
And
yeah,
um,
well, they find that fan and they ban them for
now
life. That's the
as
way to
I
do it.
quickly name drop, I'm friends with Alexander's dad on Facebook, and now after this whole thing and some conversations, I'm friends with Alexander's brother on Facebook, and I just want to say that that family handled it like fucking class, straight up, like and
Yeah.
I really appreciate that. And I did have to tag Mr. Madison and his dad in a post and just asked him let Alexander know that the rest of Skull Nation does not feel this way, and that I said, and I love him for all the sacrifices he puts forward for the Vikings, because for me it's like you can always go back to performance, but you got to remember they're people and they're doing their best in their job. No
Mm,
professional athlete wants to play a poor game. Not one.
yeah. Even Johnny Manziel wanted to play a good game,
Yeah, he just
even
didn't
if
put the
he
effort in. Right,
yeah,
right.
he
He
just didn't
just
do the
didn't put
effort.
the effort in on the off time, but he still in his head wanted to go out there and play a good
Yeah.
game, right? Like, and so the guys who are busting their ass every day to try to build a team, even if it doesn't work out, like, okay, as hard as I am on Dak or Justin Fields, you'll never hear me talk bad about them personally.
Yeah, definitely, definitely, and you can't talk bad about Dak Prescott and Kirk Cousins personally either because 'cause they're 2 of the better personalities in
Well,
the
and
league,
even with
but
Justin Fields, what do I
I know
always
exactly
say?
what you mean.
I hope
Yeah,
I'm wrong and this kid survives, but he's garbage. Like I just and
yeah.
he, makes it. But like it's not that I have some personal vendetta against these players, and you're gonna get that mad over. And from what I understand, is a lot of it's over fantasy fucking football.
Which is just ridiculous. Like, it's because betting is so influential in fantasy football now. Like, people are actually going out for big prizes and things like that. Like, just save that for the Cowboys segment,
I
Jay.
was
That
gonna say
comment,
that might be the worst timing
the
ever.
worst timing ever. Just leave it. If you guys are on YouTube, you can see what we what we're saying there. But uh now that betting is so influential in fantasy football and it's all competing for money and stuff like that, um it feels like people take it way too seriously. Like I take it seriously. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm upset. I'm upset that Alexander Madison had a really shitty game.
I
However, I'm not that upset about it.
I am so competitive about everything I do. Like,
Mhm.
and I even don't like losing in fantasy football, but it doesn't like make me hate the players.
I more get annoyed at players who play really well against me. So like I'm more annoyed at Justin Jefferson for scoring 25 points
Or how about
than
when
I
I
am for
told
Alexander
you
Madison getting
How
5.
about when I told you that in my other league I was going to not play Swift because he was playing the Vikings and he put up 27 points on my bench. How about that? How
Yeah, I
about
know.
shit like that?
You would have felt dirty playing him. I stand by it. You would have felt like, oh, you would have felt so grim playing him while he's beating you up on the TV as well.
It's funny too because the other leagues are for money, but I am more competitive in our league that's for free.
Yeah, I give way more. I give so much of a shit in our league. I think it's because
so
it's the Yankee and the Brit
talking.
League. Yeah, yeah.
There's
yeah, there
so
is
much
that.
shit talking in
There
our
is that.
group chat that it yeah.
This is what happens when you make a fantasy football league with a load of street beefs fighters. That's what happens. Yeah.
Yeah.
Best decision we've ever made.
Nope.
Should we talk a little bit?
Guys like Josh, I don't know personally, but he's been in the league and followed us since the beginning. I had to kind of warn these guys that one year, like, hey, these guys are pretty over the top with the way they shit talk, so be ready.
It's Duffy, man. It's Duffy. Like those two British guys were the two champions. It's at the moment it's a British dominated league. Just putting that out there, but he's coming this year and it's like giving the shit talk, and I'm like, yeah, Duffy, you fucking go, man. Let's have it. Let's have some.
I wasn't really worried about the Brits because from what I know about you guys just shit talk each other all the time.
Yeah, pretty much. We're good. We're good with shit talk. We're more of a funny shit talk than you're terrible and I hate everything about you. Like what we get with Hitman and the Canadian. But,
the thing about those two is there's a true respect there and they like each other, but they also dislike each other at the same time, if that makes sense, because of the feud from the boxing.
Yeah.
And they both, given the chance in a ring, would really try to hurt one another, but afterwards would be fine.
Have we got any further on us commentating on their American football game? The Street Beefs American football game. Have we signed a deal yet for us to call the game?
Oh, you broke up a little, but I think you were talking about their game coming up. Yep, nope, I haven't heard nothing yet. And they might be doing basketball or football or both. We're not even sure what they're doing yet.
Cool. I'll commentate on anything. That sounds like so much fun. Should we talk a little bit about
stick with football because it's going to turn into tackle basketball if they don't.
Yeah, definitely. Should we talk about the game a little bit on Thursday night? Just get your thoughts on it.
Nope, we shouldn't.
Just a tiny little bit, you know. What the one thing I want to know is the Eagles.
Fuck turnovers.
Yeah. What do you think the reason is for the Vikings turnover issue? Because Kirk Cousins is still throwing.
They're fumbling. I don't know. Yards. It's just inopportune, and they're doing it at the worst fucking time.
Yeah,
like the fumbles are awful, and I don't know. It's really tough being a fan, and I hate to sound like this guy, but it's really tough being a fan of a team that's 0-2 that literally could be 2-0.
Yeah, you guys have been so close and thrown it away, but that should also give a little bit of hope in terms of if we just play a better game. Basically, if they don't turn the ball over in that game, they win both of their games. I also want to say
he won't get there, but Justin Jefferson's on pace for 2,700 yards. Like,
yeah. I'm not worried about the Vikings making it to the playoffs, if I'm being perfectly honest. What I'm more worried about, what I'm also not worried about, sorry, is the Eagles. They haven't looked good in either of their games. Jalen Hurts, best quarterback in the NFC, doesn't look like the best quarterback in the NFC.
As of right now, and people can say what they want, even with an 0-2 record, stats-wise, Kirk Cousins, best quarterback in the NFC, 700 yards in 2 games.
Yeah,
and those people who keep blaming him are ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, how many turnovers did he get in the first game, though, Kirk Cousins?
If you count the 2 fumbles, which fine, you can, 3. But the problem too is, and I'm not giving him excuses because we've talked about Dak has to own these, so but that one from KJ was ripped out of his hands, that interception. So like you can say he has these turnovers, which he does, but you also can look at it as in like it's not really the turnovers that as a coach would worry you. Like you wouldn't look at your quarterback and go, "Oh fuck, how do I fix this?" You know?
Yeah, definitely. Especially the fumbles are just difficult. Fumbles are.
That was a bad snap from a a backup lineman, which no excuses, but it is what it is. And the second fumble, he got sacked so fucking hard that the ball just came flying out.
Yeah, fumbles are a difficult thing to kind of comprehend anyway. Like they don't. Sometimes you get quarterbacks with fumble problems. Also, Josh Allen has a definite fumble problem. By the way,
Justin
just putting that out
Fields.
there. Yeah, Justin.
He does.
Well, he's a running back.
Well, I don't go that far when I disrespect him, but like he's fumbled a lot. The only thing he has going for him is he's got the least fumbles that are recovered by the other team.
Oh, right. Okay. Good stat. Good stat. Okay, that's enough of whatever happened. That's enough of whatever happened on Thursday. Shall we move into looking forward and going into Sunday, which is kicking off in an hour and 15 minutes?
All right. Well, first up on my little DraftKings, hey, hit us up if you need to sponsor somebody. You can go over. We'll even put you on our Instagram. 30,000 followers over there. So
aim for the stars, man, and you'll never. We should start getting money from Instagram actually for 35,000 followers. Just putting that out there.
Yeah, I'm not sure on how all that monetization works. So if anybody's got some information, hit me up and help me out.
We'll put it straight back into the pod. That's where our ad money will go straight away.
So today we got Vegas at Buffalo. Buffalo, I'm not going to lie. I know it's still, people are like, that's a big point spread is 8. It is, but I thought Buffalo versus the Raiders might be a little higher going into this game. So the Bills at home favored by 8.
And you thought the point spread would be higher than 8?
Yeah, if this was 2 weeks ago, when everybody was riding Buffalo into the Super Bowl and the Raiders into relegation, if we had it, you know what I mean? That's how bad everybody thought the Raiders were going to be, and everybody was riding the Buffalo bandwagon. Wouldn't this week 1? This should have probably been what, a 14 point spread?
Yeah, I'm gonna put this here. This is. I don't know if we still have the alarm or anything. This is my upset of the week. I think that the Raiders are going to beat the Bills. I think the wheels are kind of falling off the wagon in Buffalo, and Justin Fields can't stop turning the ball over. The Raiders' defense looked really good, really solid, and Allen just loves throwing the ball away.
That was the Raiders believing. That's the funny thing is, I think the Bills win, but I don't think they beat them by more than 8. So that's why I was taking the Raiders. So I wouldn't even call mine the upset. Like you can, have the upset, but I was just thinking that's a big point spread for a team that looked pretty good.
Yeah, this is my upset of the week. I like that. Josh Allen seemed to get hurried because his offensive line wasn't blocking too well and they have no run game, which just means Max Crosby can stand and just jump off the line and attack Josh Allen. Can just get rid of Josh Allen and really attack him and force him into turnovers. The Raiders' secondary is really not bad at all either, and I think he'll be able to grab a few interceptions. The Raiders' defense looked good against the Broncos. The offense stuttering, obviously only scoring 17 points, but the Broncos' defense is legit. And I don't think the Buffalo defense is that great either. They managed to lose to Zach Wilson when Zach Wilson was thrown into the game after the entire Jets season looked like it just went up in flames within 4 snaps. So I don't think the Bills are all that at all this season. We spoke about it a lot, and I think the Raiders have got a good matchup here to go against them. And the Raiders have the ability to run the ball, and the Buffalo Bills don't.
I'm changing my pick. You convinced me I was wrong. I'm changing it. I'm serious. Bills win by 8 or more. I'm taking the Bills with the -8. I don't know why. Your talking just convinced me that the Bills were going to win this by more than 8. So I'm taking the Bills.
Thank you. Great. Awesome. I'm glad that my talking for the Raiders going to win it.
Yeah, I
that
don't know
you.
why. It just made me think like for some reason the Bills are gonna. So I'm taking the Bills and -8.
Great. I'm so glad that my speaking was able to do that for you.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. I don't know. As you were talking, I'm thinking, oh, the Bills are gonna be pissed about the way they play.
Yeah.
They're gonna come
Off the
out and
bat.
play better. Like
Yeah.
that's the kind of shit that was going through my head. So give me
Fair
the
enough.
Bills -8.5.
Okay, got you. The team. There is a thing of the team.
Oh, Maddie froze up on us. Well, I think the Bills are too talented also to not like be pissed off on the way they played and that they're going to come out with some vengeance. So hopefully that'll get me another win. Like I said though, if you followed me betting last week, I went 11-6. So if you say you bet $10 a game, you're up $50. So you're welcome. We got some British internet issues. You would think he's got Canadian internet or something.
Seem to
Oh, he's
disappear
back.
there. Seem to
He's
disappear
back.
there. This British Wi-Fi is horrendous.
You didn't disappear. You froze up. So
Oh right, okay. Well, that's always worse because then you just
yeah, you were like
always
this.
frozen up in like a really awkward position.
No, you
I'll
look like
take that.
Regal and shit. You were like,
I'll take that. I'll take Regal. I'll always take Regal. That's good. Maybe I'll make that my profile picture. I'll go back and watch the video and I'll like it. Okay, should we move on to the next game? What have you got?
I got Chiefs at the Jags with the Chiefs 3.5-point favorites, which I don't know. I like that point spread for the Jags. I think it's a good one for the Jags, but I just think that after losing to the Lions, Kansas City's going to be pissed off also. And so give me Kansas City minus the 3.5.
Give me Kansas City minus the 3.5. Travis Kelce is back. If you have the option to play Travis Kelce this week, then play that guy because he's going to make big points. And I also think having Travis Kelce takes the pressure off the other wide receivers as well. I think it means you don't have to go as high volume to the others. And hopefully they've just put Ivan Toney in. Ivan Toney, he plays up front for Brentford. Kadarius Toney. You hope that Kadarius Toney has just been put in front of a catching machine all week and is just told to catch the fucking ball. So, yes, they have their number one receiver back, Travis Kelce. They're going to be pissed. And I refuse to believe that they play as badly as they did last week. I also don't get me wrong. I like the Jags. I think they're going to win the NFC South. I like what they've got going a lot. Trevor Lawrence plays excellently. Calvin Ridley looked fucking awesome. But also the Chiefs defense looked pretty good as well. Like Nick Wright has said this a lot this week. He's gone look, I know we lost, but everybody thought that the Chiefs defense was going to be the problem. And we look great. And then obviously Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes. So take me the Chiefs. Give me the Chiefs minus 3.5.
All right. Appreciate
What's
you.
the under over? Oh, yeah. Cheers, Fire Chicken. Good to see you, mate. What's the under over on that?
It is 50.5.
Shit. Under on the 50.5.
Give me the over.
All right. Give me the over. Like it.
I just think both teams can put up points. I just think Patrick Mahomes is going to come out pissed off after the way things went last week.
Throw the ball to Rashid Rice. He looked like their best player.
Well, Kelce will be back, which will make
Kelce double team. Better. Kelce double team. There's got to be someone.
Well, yeah, it's going to make everybody else better, right?
Yeah.
Well, we got Chicago at Tampa. Tampa is minus 2.5 favorite, which is wild to me because that's saying on a neutral field they think the Bears win by 0.5 point in Vegas.
Yeah, I think that's down to the amount of hate that Tampa have got. The Baker Mayfield led Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and if you can put pressure on Tampa Bay, if you can put pressure on Baker Mayfield, he tends to make mistakes. And the Bears only got one pressure, only got one sack last week, despite spending all of this money trying to recreate the 85 Bears. So not feeling too confident. However, if they use Justin Fields as Justin fucking Fields and don't only run him on select plays, we need some QB runs in there, like 70 yards rushing still off just scrambling around and that kind of stuff. The guy needs to be played like a guy who, all right, we know he can't really make the medium and short routes. He can make the down the field really difficult shit if everybody's up in the box, because we run him all the time. So run the fuck out of the ball and give it to Justin Fields.
Who are you taking?
In a game I'm probably not going to watch until the highlights. Give me the Bears 2.5.
See, my gut says the Bears, but my head says no fucking way. So I'm taking Tampa minus the 2.5. The over-under is 41, which is the most, like, it's probably what the score will be. It was like 20-21 or something stupid and just land on 41. Yeah. But I would honestly have to take the under if you made me pick, and that's crazy in an NFL game.
Yeah, I mean, Bears. Why have I taken the Bears? I don't trust the Bears. I don't trust the Bears defense really at all, but it should play better than it did last week, realistically. Like, the players that they've got on the board should play better. It's just where they've got the players. Like, they've just got their players at linebacker, which I like linebacker.
You're worried about the Bears defense.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Obviously I'm worried about the Bears offense as well. Don't get me wrong. Basically, you're worried about the Bears when you're selecting them entirely.
Okay.
However, I think the reason that the Bears are going to win this game is because the Bucs can't run the ball, and the Bears should be able to run the ball if they use Justin Fields correctly, which they didn't last week. So therefore, the Bears just keep the ball. And actually, I'm going to go with you and take the under on 41 points.
All right. Seahawks at the Kitty Cats. I mean the Lions. Lions are favored by 4.5.
Oh, that's a lot.
And we have Jay's upset pick of the week. Seahawks go into Detroit and they win this game. Not only do they cover the spread, they win this game, beating Detroit at home, because Detroit's already thinks they won the Super Bowl by beating the Chiefs, and they're going to let all that hype go to their head, and boom, time for you to get karma back down to size. Like, chill out. Karma's going to be like, calm down, Detroit. You're the fucking Lions.
So I rewatched the highlights of the Rams-Hawks game after you said something in the show last week, and it was they didn't play like a Pete Carroll
Coach
team.
Steve. Yeah.
The energy wasn't there with Pete Carroll. And then I watched Pete Carroll on Richard Sherman's podcast. Really good episode, by the way.
Which is weird that they could even get along now after everything that happened. They hated each other.
Yeah, they spoke about that a lot, actually, where they kind of went like just the way that all went down. And I think Pete Carroll was basically saying like, look, wasn't really my stuff. But he on that podcast, dude, filled with energy, like young vibe, like love the guy a lot. Came off really well on that podcast. They're not going to play like that again this week. There's no fucking way he's going to. And if it does, people are leaving the building, because that's the kind of coach he is. So I think they're going to come out really high energy. However, Detroit are on a much longer preparation week. They've had time to get ready for this game after.
They've had time to feel themselves for 10 days.
Yeah, though. A little bit. 4.5 is a lot. So give me the Seahawks, but I think the Lions are going to win the game.
All right, and the over-under is 47.5. What are you thinking on a 47.5 over-under?
Under, both defenses locking it down, I think. I think the Detroit defense is legit, and obviously Pete Carroll's coaching the Seahawks.
I'm taking the over.
All right, high-scoring game, fun. I just don't see Geno as like leading.
I think the only way the Seahawks win is if they put up somewhere around 30.
Yeah, I'm kind of hoping that I'm wrong a lot so far this week, because so far I've got the Bills not running the ball at all with James Cook in my fantasy team, and I've got a low-scoring game for the Detroit Lions with Amon-Ra St. Brown in there. So not great feeling going into this week.
All right. Well, I love how fantasy football drives so much shit in the world. I'm like that too. It just drives so
Mm.
much shit.
It gets me into the thought process early on in the week. Like for these podcasts, basically from Monday, I'm thinking about week 2 because of I'm thinking about the next week. And obviously I do it for the podcast and everything like that as well. And the reason I can get so into it is because we have this creative outlet as well, which is really nice. So I can justify the hours and hours and hours of not of listening and watching NFL stuff. But like, fuck me, like fantasy football really gets those juices flowing.
Well, we'll move on to the LA Chargers. I almost called them San Diego. I'm like
Mm.
it's been some years now
That's getting
until
old now. Yeah, that's getting
yeah,
old. Jared
and
Goff has been in the league the whole time.
yeah, and they're at the Tennessee Titans, but the Chargers are minus 2.5 away from home. But I'm not gonna lie, give me the Tennessee Titans with Eckler and Kendricks out. I think that's a big hit for the defense
Yeah.
and the offense. I'm not sold on the coaching staff. And don't get me wrong, yes, there's a couple other guys, but the only one I'm really sold on the Chargers is Justin Herbert. Now, there is other guys I'm
Keenan
sold on
Allen,
being
Mike
facetious and
Williams.
but I don't trust that coaching staff at all.
I tell you who I don't trust: Ryan Tannehill or any of the Tennessee Titans personnel really
You don't trust Derrick Henry?
on defense is where I was about to finish
Oh,
that
okay,
sentence.
okay. Fair.
Because obviously they've got King
You
Henry,
know who I trust on defense in Tennessee? Vrabel.
Vrabel, right? But do you know who I trust the most in this entire game? Justin Herbert. Give me the Chargers minus 2.5. I think this could be an easy win. I just don't really have. I think the Tennessee Titans would be better off with Vrabel just not being Vrabel this year and just letting them lose.
So 45.5 over under.
Under again. I'm going for a low scoring week. I
If
think
it's
when you're
under, you just lost that bet, but I'm taking under. If
well, you think
Titans
the
win in
Chargers
a
have to
low
blow them
scoring
out?
game, Chargers win in a high scoring game is my
Mm.
theory on that.
Yeah, I just think do you know though I could see the points being 30-10 though in terms of the Chargers.
Stop.
I'm just putting it out there.
Um,
There's no way the Chargers defensive line plays as badly as it did in week 1 with Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack on there as well. And you know they've got one of my favorite cornerbacks in the league in Asante Samuel.
is Khalil Mack just a name now, though?
Yeah, he's a name that you have to watch though. Like
No, I'm
you
saying
know what
like
I mean?
has his production fallen so much that he's just a name now, like that kind
But
of.
his name allows for other people to make production because you know you've got to watch the name on the corner. But unless the league has caught up to the fact he's not actually Khalil Mack anymore.
And it's not a shot at him. He's just gotten older,
Yeah.
and wasted his career on bad teams.
Yeah, and I do also worry about the Chargers coaching staff and ability, but
I think
I could see the
Eckler
game
being
being
out is
30
really
points.
going to hurt that and team, and I think Eric Kendricks being out doesn't help that defense at all.
Yeah, if you've got the Chargers back, who's it? Joshua Kelly. If you've got him in fantasy football, it's a good day to get him off the bench and see what happens.
All right. Well, we got the Baltimore Ravens heading to Cincinnati to play the Bengals. Bengals are favored -3. I'll just throw it out there. Give me the Ravens +3 because I don't think Joey Burrow's healthy.
Give me the Ravens +3 as well. The Ravens have a good record against the Bengals. When Lamar Jackson plays, I think it's they're 4-1, I think, against the Bengals. Because Joe Burrow is also 4-2 against the Ravens, but 3 of those wins came when Lamar Jackson wasn't playing for the Ravens because of his injury issues. I think again, Josh Hardball is not going to be happy with what happened last week, so I can see him coming back and having this team ready to just rip some heads off. The Bengals' offensive line is always a bit of a worry. And I think they start slow in seasons. I think they start slow and then get it going towards the end.
I don't think Vegas has much faith in the Bengals either because the over-under is 45.5.
Yeah. Give me the over on 45.5, I think.
Yeah, I agree with that, but I just shows kind of what Vegas is thinking. I don't think they think Burrow's healthy either.
Yeah, I worry that Burrow's not healthy. They haven't shown much of an ability to run the ball for a while. And T. Higgins got 0 fantasy points. I think he was targeted 6 times last week. So he was targeted 6 times last week and didn't catch a single ball. Now, a lot of those targets were throws that were under pressure, didn't really go to him, kind of just went in his area, but targeted 6 times and didn't catch a ball. You worry. You worry about the Bengals. They made it to the playoffs going 0-2 last year, so, I mean.
Yeah, I'm worried about Joe Burrow. Like, he got injured in camp. I don't think that calf is back to being healthy, and we're at that situation. The Ravens did lose J.K. Dobbins, but that happens every season. So that poor guy hasn't stayed healthy since he's got drafted.
Yeah. You're ready to, the Ravens are ready and expect kind of to play without J.K. Dobbins at some point in the season. They'd be stupid if they didn't expect to have to do that.
Well, it's we're going to go on to the Packers at Atlanta. Atlanta is a 3-point favorite, which I think is fucking crazy.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That is wild.
Give me Green Bay +3 and give me the over on the 40 points.
Yeah, so that's an over adjustment to the Falcons game last week, but a complete under adjustment on the Bears beat the Packers beat the Bears by 18 points, right? Like 38-20.
Something, yeah, they beat them pretty good.
38. My Wi-Fi is horrendous. I'm pretty sure it was 38-20, but they really put a beat down on them. And Jordan Love looked good in that game. Jordan Love looked really good. A lot of people this week have been saying like, oh, Zach Wilson, he'll be better because he spent time around Aaron Rodgers. Jordan Love got to spend 3 years around Aaron Rodgers. So if you think that that's a big playing point. Now, I don't think that Jordan Love's going to be great. I think he's still like maybe creeps into the top 20 at points. But realistically, if he's your quarterback, you're probably looking at maybe somebody else. But Jordan Love looked decent and can run this offense. The Atlanta Falcons don't have that.
And I know Aaron Jones is out, but they act like A.J. Dillon can't run the ball.
Yeah. And they're also acting like Jordan Love can't throw the ball as well, which he can run this offense, especially. Now, the Falcons defense looked a lot better. That's to be said. The Falcons offseason moves have looked really good in their last game. Looked really, really good. So I'd expect a close game, 3-point spread, probably, maybe a 2-point spread, but I would expect the Packers to be favorites in that.
And the Packers defense looks like on paper is monsters and look good on the field.
They limited the Bears as well. Like the Bears offense, like wasn't kicking on all cylinders, but they're
literally playing a team that they got to do the same thing against.
Yeah.
Let's just stop that we got a young quarterback who's not a proficient passer. Let's just stop this running game and
but the quarterback can't run
either. Right, and see if Ridley can run or can throw the ball, or Ritter can throw the ball and win the game, which I don't think he can. Plus, you got really good corners out there for Green Bay. That secondary's deep. I don't know if this is money move the betting lines or Vegas really thinks that Atlanta is a better team.
So what I can tell from talking heads, because like a decent amount of talking heads have said this as well. So I imagine it might be a bit of both. Like Vegas probably cut it as like an evens game, like where either team could win. Pick'em. That's what you guys call them. Yeah, we call it evens. You guys call it pick'em.
Okay.
They kind of set the line, and then the money's like moved it around a little bit. But I from what I can tell is that they said, well, we've got that amazing running game in Atlanta, and Desmond Ridder has to be able to throw the ball to Drake London and Kyle Pitts. It's like, why does he have to be able to do that? Why why and what has shown that he's able to get the ball to Drake London and Kyle Pitts? What's shown that so far in him?
This is not a shot at Drake London either, but what's Drake London done to prove he's an elite wide receiver yet?
Like Drake London had a few good games last year. Like Drake,
Right.
but they look at his body. Like you look at his body type and you go, right, okay, but it's a good body type for when you have a non-proficient passer of the ball as well. I actually really like Drake London and Kyle Pitts as a tandem, but what have we seen from the Falcons so far that shows that they can make the use of this tandem? We haven't seen anything.
And it can't be the return of Cordell Patterson because I have him on my fantasy team and he's projected 3.1 points this game.
Yeah, and the other thing is that Bijan Robinson is apparently the second coming of Emmitt Smith after one game, which, don't get me wrong, or Adrian Peterson's probably a better comp.
Well,
but
I
get me wrong,
I just love how you went to the Cowboys right away because I wouldn't even have went to Peterson as a Vikings fan. I'd have been like, he's the next Barry Sanders because to me, Barry is the GOAT of running backs in the NFL. So it's just the Cowboys fans go to Emmett right away. it makes sense. It was just like, he would say Emmett, wouldn't he?
But Cordell Patterson, not Cordell Patterson, Bijan Robinson looks great, but one game. Let's pull the brakes a little bit. The Packers look decent. I'm going to take the Packers -3. I would say it's pick 'em.
Packers +3. You get the Packers.
3, sorry. Packers
so you get the 3 points too.
Yeah. Sorry, Packers +3. Because I would get it if it was a pick 'em game. I would understand if it was a pick 'em, but I wouldn't give.
But they're saying they are saying on a neutral field it's a pick 'em game.
Yeah. Even neutral field though, I don't think it would be. I like neutral field. I would go -3 Packers because Lambeau's such a.
I wonder whoever made that a rule too. Like home automatically 3 points.
Yeah, it shouldn't matter depending on which team because we have some football teams over here that play better away from home than at home.
Well, and this is completely going way back, but if you go back to the late 90s, there was like a 3-year stretch where the Vikings didn't lose a home game, but always went like 500 on road games or worse. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so that would make sense.
In the NFL that just play at home way better.
Yeah, so that would make sense to have -3 there, but we have teams here that play better away from home. I think in the States it's probably a bit of a bigger deal because of the travel involved and things like that as well.
I think football is one of the sports that home field advantage means the most too.
Yeah. Because of all the noise.
Game 7 in basketball is important. But besides that, I think in basketball, the other games home field advantage can be overly hyped. And in hockey, home field advantage means nothing. Nothing.
It does when you're in Latvia.
So I'm just saying, Vegas does nothing for home ice advantage in hockey because hockey, the better team just wins a 7-game series in hockey and basketball. You know what I mean?
Baseball like that, it makes much of a difference at all. Just because
the pitching makes more than the field when it comes to
it doesn't make much of a difference. But the cricket is actually the biggest sport where you have home field advantage because the weather dictates what the ball's going to do. So if you grow up in India, you're used to playing what we call spin, so where the ball pitches and it just moves. So you're used to batting against that. But if you play in England, you're used to the ball swinging, so it swings through the air. If you're in Australia, you're used to the ball bouncing. So it's just the way that you're used to it. It's not necessarily a crowd thing at all. It's just what you're used to at home.
And obviously it takes 7 days to complete a game.
5 days, yeah. 5 days. Yeah.
That's so weird to me.
It's so good. I'll get you hooked on it, Jay. If you can watch a game.
This is a game that I am probably the only person. Oh, wait, quick. 40 points over or under in the Packers Atlanta game.
Shit. Over.
Me too. Over.
Yeah, over.
40 in an NFL game, I feel like you could trip over that.
Yeah. I mean, something that I just wanted to bring up actually on the last game was that we had quite a low scoring week 1. Not a lot of teams. And even in the high scoring game where the Cowboys put up 40 points, most of that was defensive work, not offensive work. So I I think it takes a few weeks for teams to get offenses together. So I could see it being a low scoring game, but 40 just feels low.
Yeah, I agree. But this next game, I'm the only person excited about this game this week, I think. Colts at the Texans. Colts, this is the fucking best point spread ever. Colts are a away team. They're favored by 1 point.
Right, okay. Great.
It's such a weird, and it's got a 40 over and under also. I'm taking the Colts just because I think out of the rookie quarterbacks, Anthony Richardson's legs are more dangerous than either of their arms right now because of the teams around them. They're rookies, that kind of thing. It's not a slight on CJ Stroud at all. It's just you're on the Texans, you're a rookie, like that kind of thing. And yes, Stroud showed us he could run, but he is definitely not a run first quarterback. He'd rather sit in the pocket. Anthony Richardson is an elite athlete. Like we can say that about Justin Fields too. I know I shit on him. And they both kind of remind me of each other, except that I think Anthony Richardson, athletic, I don't know who's faster. They can argue that, but athletic wise, that dude is just phenomenal. Anthony Richardson, you look at him and go, how is somebody that big, that fast, that quick? It's just his arm, but he's going to make some play. He's going to make some plays with his legs so much, I think, this week that I sat Deshaun Watson and I'm starting Anthony Richardson in fantasy for this game.
I think that makes sense in terms of fantasy point play just because of where the points come from. And a lot of stuff going up about the Browns maybe not being all that. Maybe the Bengals were just awful last week. I'm sure we'll talk about that when we get to the Browns game. Anthony Richardson was exactly what we expected in week one. Like everybody's acting like he was pretty great because he did this, and this. And it's like, it was exactly what we expected. Like he was exactly what we thought he was going to be. So stop. Stop. Like don't put so much pressure on Anthony Richardson, like being amazing.
I forget the coaches, and I'm sorry about this. The Colts' new head coach, the DC from the Eagles last year, his name. But the way he had Jalen Hurts playing last year compared to the way Jalen Hurts looks this year, and it's not just Jalen, that offense, that coaching had a lot to do with that Eagles team. I think they're getting used to having a new coach. They're out of sync. Jalen did not look comfortable. So, like, I think the Colts have the perfect coach for a super athletic quarterback who might not be the greatest thrower right now.
Yeah, Shane Steichen.
Steichen. How to figure out how to get him moved around, how to get the players to, run block better, to those kinds of things. It's like the scheme, I think, is really, that's the word I was looking for. The scheme is really going to help Anthony Richardson more. And let's be real, the Texans have been bad for some years. The Colts, if you go back 2 years and you minus last year, have the makings of a really good offensive line. Like, they
definitely
have some pieces on defense. Like, I feel like the Colts have more pieces, and they've just really been hamstrung by really bad quarterback play the last couple of years.
Yeah, and dysfunctional ownership a little bit at points. Yeah.
I agree. Bad culture, but I think talent-wise, they're more talented, and the Texans are on a full fucking rebuild, where the Colts are on this weird, if we get our quarterback right, we could win some games.
Yeah, the Texans are on a seemingly 5-year rebuild. From there, I like
they're 8 years in on a 5-year rebuild.
Yeah.
But
I like what the Texans have got with CJ Stroud. They could do with a wide receiver 1, but I think Nico Collins could be that guy. Like he looks like a good fit for them. However, the Colts are so athletic at points, and if they hadn't fucked up the whole Jonathan Taylor thing, if they just, you've got your quarterback on a rookie deal, you can pay the running back. That's totally fine. And Anthony Richardson needs this help to make it like some crazy backfield with Jonathan Taylor and Anthony Richardson. What I would like to see from them is a few designed quarterback run plays coming in there, a little bit more of that. A lot of read option, things like that coming in to the scheme would be really good for them this week. I'm actually going to take the Texans in this game. I think they have a very solid run game in Damian Pierce, and I think Anthony Richardson. I think Anthony Richardson gives more of a possibility to lose the game than CJ Stroud does. If you get what I mean, like I wouldn't be surprised. Some of his throws were so off that he was lucky they didn't go to. He was lucky that they were so off that they weren't near anybody last week, Anthony Richardson's throws. Whereas I think CJ Stroud will just grow in a little bit more. And I really like the Texans backfield with Damian Pierce in it as well.
Well, I do have a suggestion for running backs and teams who have really good running backs that don't want to give them a second contract. Okay, so let's take their 5th-year salary, right? And what the next 2 franchise tags would be, because you're thinking that's 7 years out on a running back. Let's offer them that exact money, but fully guaranteed coming out of their 4th year, coming out of their 4th year. And I think these guys would take it because you're actually guaranteeing them an extra 2 years of money that they probably get anyway. But if they get injured, they're guaranteed it, so they feel more comfortable. So instead of giving them long extensions, just give them what the 2 tags would be and their 5th-year option, and just guarantee the whole fucking thing. And I believe all the running backs would be happier and the teams would be happier just by guaranteeing 2 more years to that contract. That's it. I think that's a good solution right now for the running back market, and I think teams and running back really think about doing that kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's over for the prospect of the extension for Jonathan Taylor at the Colts, though. I think too much has been said.
Yeah, that's Jim Irsay.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to blame Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor's like, I'm going to play out my contract. I really want to stay here. I want a new contract. He tells the ownership he wants a new contract. And then the owner's tweeting shit. If I'm Jonathan Taylor, I'm pissed off too. Like we can say what we want behind closed doors. Like, tell me how you feel. But why are you trying to drag me in public?
Yeah, especially after he's done his... All right, he wasn't great last season, but nobody was blocking for him. He was good the season before. He
still had 900 yards after missing all those games. They act like he didn't play. That drives me insane. When I love Pat McAfee, and I get he's a Colt, so he's always going to be for the Colts. But he's pissed me off for the last couple of weeks with this. Jonathan Taylor didn't play good last year. Wait, when Jonathan Taylor was there, he played well.
Yeah.
It's just he got injured. Let's not forget that he missed like 4 or 5 games and still had 900 fucking yards.
Yeah, and the idea that he played badly because he didn't have the same season as before is wild. Like, obviously, he didn't play as well as the season before, but the season before he was the best running back in the NFL. So let's all calm down a little bit, shall we?
Yeah, it's just weird to me. And I get so like I said, I kind of give Pat McAfee a pass because he is a Colt, right? So there's always going to be emotion involved in that. I get that. But when other people say it, it really drives me nuts because they're like, I'm like, when he was there, he put up 900 yards on the ground, missing like 5 games last year.
Yeah, 100. Yeah, 100%. I think they've made a big mistake on doing the Jonathan Taylor thing now while you've just got your rookie quarterback who, if Anthony Taylor comes off, he's fucking...
How is it legal? And I mean legal in an NFL sense, not legal in actual
legal.
But how is it okay with the rules to put a guy on physically unable to perform who can pass his physical?
Yeah, and we can see he's
a guy.
Yeah, we can see that he's done it. Like, we can see that he's actually doing it.
Physical.
Yeah, and he's been on the practice field demonstrating his physical ability. Like, what is going on?
I feel like they put him on the PUP as a punishment. I don't think you should be able to use the physically unable to perform as a punishment.
They should have to fail a physical to be put on that point, because also you can just stash players on there as well.
Right. Like, that's what I was just saying. Now you got an extra roster spot for
while you're solving contract disputes, you can just stash players. Like, it just
and then he's got nothing to say about it. He can't say I refuse to go on the PUP.
Yeah, because exactly.
It's weird to me. It's
Yeah.
because you can't do it with the IR, but you can do it with the P. It's so fucking weird. To
Again,
me.
there's something so un-American about a lot of the things that the NFL does. Draft and
which makes it
country.
oddly makes it really American to just fuck somebody out of their rights. So yeah,
Yeah,
like
okay. It makes it okay from Jim Irsay's point of view, makes it very American thing to do. But the whole lack of free market. So like Jonathan Taylor can't go and just go get himself.
no, I agree.
He can't just go, I'm gonna go to another company, fuck you guys. Like which every lawyer could do. Like if Jonathan Taylor went and bought out if he was a lawyer, if he bought out his contract, he could go anywhere else and do the same thing. So yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway.
it's weird to me how they just stashed him. I was so like, how does the NFL even let this happen?
I love that you just went, what cheating somebody out of their rights is not it's a very un-American thing to do.
Well,
That's
it
so
is. It
funny.
kind of is. Like we say, you have this right, and then when
You're
it
so
doesn't
right.
fit what the government wants us to do, they're like, "Well,
I'm not
yeah, that's your
disagreeing with
right,
you.
unless, yeah,
I'm not disagreeing with you. You're allowed to say that kind of stuff.
that's one thing about Americans. We can be very self-deprecating."
I'm only allowed to do it when we're on roasts. That's when I'm allowed to really go ham. That was fun.
Yeah,
Let's do
good
that
times.
again.
I actually rewatched some of the clips I made of those on Instagram the other day, and I was just laughing.
Oh, what is my
Over under is 40 on that game. What are you thinking?
over under is 40. Give me the 40 is so ridiculous. Give me the over, like just because 40 is so low.
I am with you though. I'm going with the over, but I literally had to think about it because of
Yeah.
the two teams. I was like, oh shit.
Like 40 is so low. That can be like 40 can be if one team has a punt return or a
28 to
kickoff
12.
return, like a yeah, 40 40 is very low.
Yeah.
Especially with two teams like their offenses are decent, but they're not that great. Defenses, sorry.
Right. All right. Well, we got the San Francisco 49ers head into LA to play the Rams. San Francisco is favored by 7.5 on the road.
Yeah, they look like the juggernaut that we expected last week. But the Rams went into Seattle and did a number on Seattle and were just not giving. I feel like, again, Sean McVay is probably the best coach in the league. There are a few coaches who can say we can have a debate of, and that's
He's
a
up
great
there.
debate to have of another time. But Sean McVay is one of the best coaches in the league. Like, who else can we say? Like Andy Reid,
Kyle Shanahan,
Kyle Shanahan, Pete Carroll did certain aspects of it.
maybe Bill Belichick because of history.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, Bill Belichick, we can call the greatest of all time, but right now in the current NFL, where defensive coordinators are maybe not it, Harbaugh becomes part of the conversation, people like that. But Sean McVay is the fact that Kyle Shanahan versus Sean McVay is a very exciting thing, and the fact that the Washington Commanders, not called the Commanders at that point, called something horrible and disgusting, were had who did they have? Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay, and there was one other as well.
Jay Gruden was there.
Jay Gruden. No, is it Mike McDaniels for the Dolphins? And they
He
had all
might be
three.
from that tree too. Yeah.
Something like that. There was it's something like that. There's another one, and he's head coach in the NFL as well. Yeah, the fact that they had all of those is absolutely fucking amazing. Kyle Shanahan again, Sean McVay is very exciting. Although we're totally not giving any credit to Matthew Stafford, Aaron Donald, Cooper Kupp, and Sean McVay
Cooper Kupp
at
hasn't
all.
played. He's on IR. So.
Yeah, well,
But
sorry,
then
that
they
just
have the
rolled off the
guy I
tongue.
can't pronounce his name who went the fuck off.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. They're doing their thing with third round, fourth round picks as well. So, I think that's a pretty massive point spread. Give me the Rams with that point spread.
All right,
49ers to win.
I do this reluctantly, but give me the Niners plus the 7.5.
It just seems like a lot.
It does.
You know what I
It
mean?
does. But
On the road.
And so the over under is 45. Give me the over.
Over. Definitely the over on that one. It just feels so disrespectful to the Rams, that entire thing. I think the Rams, from what they showed me, I think the Rams deserve some respect on their name from last week as they went into Seattle, which is notably one of the hardest places to play, and put in that performance. Let's watch the Rams a little bit this year. And in that division as well, they've got 2 wins against the Cardinals to come. If they've already got 1 win against the Seahawks, they're contenders in that division. Let's watch out for them. Matthew Stafford could lay claim to being the best quarterback in the NFC as well. Let's remember that.
But we'll see. We'll see which one of us right in this one. All right,
well, obviously the 49ers with Purdy, McCaffrey, and Kyle Shanahan are obviously favorites to win. Like, still pick them to win, but just that point spread is too large for me.
All right, well, let's go on to the game of the fucking week that everybody is waiting for. The Giants at the Cardinals.
Yeah, baby.
The Cardinals are at home and they're dogs by 4.5.
This should be your game. This should be your game of the week. This should be your game of the week because of the predictions that you made.
Oh yeah, Cardinals.
Last week.
Cardinals. Give me the Cardinals money line.
Yeah.
Not the 4.5. Give me Cardinals money line.
Yeah.
Bank it. Giants #1 pick going into next year.
Clip that. Everybody clip that.
I'll put that on Instagram sometime.
Yeah.
So we
it's
have
real to shout that one.
So we have a receipt.
We need to start clipping receipts. Yeah, clip that. That's a YouTube shot. That's an Instagram reel right there. Everybody, if you can't tell, we're starting to make our way in the world of social media and actually semi-understand what the fuck is going on. So hopefully we'll grow soon.
That all you motherfuckers do is like reels on Instagram. If you give good reels, that fucking following just fucking drives crazy.
Yeah. Ours has grown pretty quickly. Like 30,000 is wild.
I promise you guys, I bought 0 followers, but even Maddie was like, "You're not the only one. Though. You're not the only one to ask me, like, how did you do that? Did you buy followers?" I'm like, "I swear to you, I've not spent money. I listened to an Instagram dude on YouTube tell me how to get up to 100,000 followers by using Reels. I started following his suggestions, and in a few months, we went from 800 to 30,000 followers.
So, if you're here and you don't follow us on Instagram right now, go fucking follow us on Instagram. Share our stuff. Let's get up to. Let's set a goal 50,000 in the next.
That's my goal right now.
3 weeks. Yep. Okay, so go follow us on Instagram, and also most importantly, if you're watching us on YouTube right now, like and subscribe, because that's where it's at. So and subscribe.
Go over to Rumble and do the same thing because we have some exclusive content that goes to Rumble.
Yeah, so make sure to go over to Rumble and like and subscribe as well.
And you can see our next guest on Rumble, Andrew Tate. No, I'm just kidding.
We use Rumble instead of using a Patreon because we don't yet want to charge anything for any of our stuff. So go over to Rumble and go look at our stuff over there because that's where all the real fans are, over on Rumble.
So that's where the crazy, that's where that's where you feel like you're tailgating in the black hole.
Okay. Back to Giants against Cardinals.
Over is under is 40. Give me the under. Give me the under. I hate saying it, but give me the under. Cardinals win. Give me the under.
Yeah. Give me the under. The fact that the Cardinals played Josh Dobbs at quarterback, I can't get over that. Give me the Giants to win -4.
All right. So, your game.
I don't think the Giants are the worst team in the NFL. I'm just not sure who else is worse apart from the Cardinals. Giants against the Bears today.
Nothing the Giants did look good, so it can only go up from here.
Yeah, I just think Daboll gives them 3 points from the jump because he's such a good coach.
So, Maddie, you guys, I don't want to say lucked out, but kind of lucked out. You don't have to play Rodgers. Like, it's the most cowboy shit ever. week 2,
Well,
you don't
hang
have to
on.
play Rodgers.
We're not famously lucky. Let's not go that far.
You're famous for catching teams at the worst possible times.
Yeah, just never in the playoffs, unfortunately. But
Yes.
yes, we
But
are
that's
we have
you're
looked at.
8.5-point favorites. Are you taking the Cowboys 8.5?
I'm taking the Cowboys 8.5. Yeah. Like I'm taking the Cowboys 8.5. I think our defense is a really just that the Jets offensive line has to take some stuff for Rodgers' injury. Not as bad as the injury was, just the fact that he had on all 4 of his snaps, he got pressured instantly. I worry about the Jets offensive line. I do think the Jets defense is really, really great. I just think we get quite a few turnovers in this game, and I think it does have a similar vibe to what the Giants game was. I'm not saying that we're going to blow them out 40 points to zip, but I could see it being like what
Well, the over-under is
35 to
38.5. What do you got there?
over
Over.
defensive touchdowns, baby. I also think that the Cowboys offense is actually like pretty fucking decent. Like we have a good run game. Dak just needs to not throw interception. So let's see. This is a sterner test for Dak. I want to see Dak do well this week because all right, he didn't have to throw for many yards last week. Obviously, his completion rate wasn't great, but I think he was being more kind of careful with the ball. So if there really wasn't a window, that throw was just getting drilled into the ground straight away. I would like to see him come out and put in a decent performance this week. Obviously, if we're winning the game on defense, he doesn't have to go fucking ham. But let's watch. Let's see how Dak does against this this defense. What are your thoughts on the game?
Okay, I'm going with the Cowboys, but if Rodgers was still there, it would be different for me because as I go through, both defenses are really good, but I would give the slight edge to the Jets for overall defensive players. Micah Parsons is the best player out of all of them. I'm not arguing that, but you look at Sauce and that fucking secondary. You look at that fucking pass rush. They got some nasty linebackers, so I would give them slight edge. I would give the edge to the Jets in the running back room too.
I do worry about Breece Hall, especially with our defensive tackle options.
Line I don't have faith in, and it's Zach Wilson I don't have faith in. I will say, give me the Cowboys 8.5, but crazily, give me the under.
Because the Jets' only way to win this game is by holding on to the ball as long as possible and just running.
And I think both defenses are good enough to keep this a low-scoring game.
Yeah, that would have to be crazy low though. Like 39 is low, and obviously no defensive touchdowns as well for the Cowboys.
Yeah, it's gonna be like 13-20.
All right. Do you know what? Take a Cowboys. I'll take the Cowboys 2-0 going into week 3. But I want to see a decent performance from Dak, and I think that our defense is better. I think our secondary is slightly slept on a little bit with Stephon Gilmore and Trayvon Diggs, and I think Bland is an excellent cornerback 3 as well.
Gilmore is old. That's his only downfall.
Yeah,
and I like both Sauce and Diggs.
Yeah. But Sauce is better than Diggs.
I think Sauce is the best young corner in football.
Yeah, Sauce could be the best corner in football.
Right. He could be overall. Right now, I'm just giving him the best young corner in football. Right. But and I think the Jets secondary is probably the best in the NFL overall.
Yeah, I just think Bland doesn't get the love that he deserves. To be honest, I love that guy. He finished the season last season with 5 interceptions off playing about like 3 games as a starter, which is just wild numbers. And then obviously Trayvon Diggs is interception guy. He hasn't been biting as much now. He seems to control the bite a little bit, and also Stephon Gilmore helps him out a lot, and helps him a lot. I quite like our linebacker room as well. Leighton Vander Esch, but has come back, looks good, helps in coverage and stuff like that as well. And obviously, when you have Micah Parsons at one defensive end, DeMarcus Lawrence on the other, D-Law on the other defensive end, and then as always, the Cowboys' problem and questions are always at D tackle. So let's see how well Mazzy Smith plays. Looked good in the first game, had total control over Saquon Barkley. So let's see what happens. Who's better right now, Saquon Barkley or Breece Hall?
Breece Hall, because of he's not on the Giants.
All right, but okay. So Giants offensive line or Jets offensive line?
A wash.
And then Daniel Jones or Zach Wilson?
Holy fuck! It probably Daniel Jones, but I hate him
So
saying
the
that.
things that affect Breece Hall but yes, like I also think Breece Hall has more explosive playability. So I think if I was 4th and 2 and wanted to get over the line, I want Saquon Barkley on my team. But if I'm not, Breece Hall has the ability to be on the 1 yard line of his own outside of his own end zone and get a touchdown on the other side. So yeah, I'm regretting not taking Breece Young on my fantasy team.
I think for the Jets too, the running game of the 1-2 punch with him and Delvin.
Yeah, you also have Delvin Cook, which is a good pickup as well.
All right. Well, your favorite team, the Washington Commanders, are going to be at the Denver Broncos. The Broncos are -4. They're favored by 4 with an over under of 38.5. Give me the Broncos in the over. Give me the Broncos in the over. It's not even a hesitation for me.
Give me the Broncos in the other as well. Sam Howell as a quarterback going up against those Broncos defense, not a good matchup for them. I think the Broncos only scored 16 points against the Raiders last week, but I also think the Raiders are a really, really good defense. And the Commanders seem to say that they have one of the best defenses in the league, but I'm not sure how often they show that, really.
I think personnel-wise they do, but they always don't play up to their...
Yeah, exactly. So it's a Khalil Mack thing again. But yeah, I give me the Broncos in the over in that one.
All right, and then we'll go to New England, where Miami's going to New England, and Miami's favored by 2.5 on the road with an over-under of 46.5.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. I think the Patriots, I think we're looking at a different New England Patriots this year. Like, how often does a Bill Belichick team, does everybody get excited about moral victories? They got a moral victory against the Eagles. The Dolphins got an actual victory against a playoff, maybe even Super Bowl contender. Let's look at that. Mike McDaniel's offense, since he came into the league, has redefined open in the NFL. We now have Alabama open in the NFL, and it's called Miami open, and it helps when you've got Tyreek Hill as well. Can Tua stay upright? When Tua has been healthy, he's put up MVP caliber numbers. Let's not get this wrong, since Mike McDaniels has been in the league as well. That New England Patriots are slow. Like, they just look slow. Juju Smith-Schuster looked okay. Mac Jones threw for 317 yards. But again, this Eagles team can be thrown on. So give me the Dolphins -6.
Well, it's 2.5.
It's only 2.5. For some reason, I thought you said -6.
No, it's a 46.5 over.
Oh, under. Right, okay. Give me the 2.5. That's wild.
Yeah, I'm with you, and just give me the over because Miami's going to put up a bunch of fucking points.
Give me the over because Miami will score at least 30, maybe even 35. But at least 30, and the Patriots are good enough to score 10 points in a game, you know.
Okay, did something happen? How did we end up with 2 Monday night games this week? I'm not even sure what the fuck happened.
I'm not particularly happy with that.
Was that scheduled and I never noticed, or did something happen at one of the fucking stadiums?
I don't know. I haven't seen it, but I don't like having 2 Monday night games. That just feels wrong.
Well, they used to start out the season with 2, which I was okay with. But yeah. You got to watch both of them. These are only an hour apart, so you can't even watch both.
Yeah, it's also the Panthers versus the Saints and the Steelers versus the Browns. So 2 divisional games, so that's good, but not the most exciting teams on offer.
Panthers versus the Saints. The Saints are at the Panthers, and the Saints are -3 with a 39.5 over under. I think the Saints easily beat the Panthers and by more than 3. So give me the Saints and the -3.
Saints beat the Panthers -3. Their defense is so good though that could still be an under on 39 points. I don't mind what Breece Hall put on tape. I just don't think that the Panthers are great. The Panthers asked Breece Hall to throw 41 times.
Bryce Young. You're still
Bryce
stuck
Young.
in the Jets.
Bryce Young.
That's all
Bryce
right.
Young. No, that's good. Bryce Young with the threw 40 times in his debut NFL game. Now that is either poor coaching or they really trust Young, or a combination of the two, or they have no run game, which could also be perfectly likely.
They don't have any receivers either, though. Like I love Adam Thielen, but geez, like, are we really?
He's not number one.
Not anymore. Fuck no. And so give me the under. I hate to say it. Give me New Orleans and the under.
New Orleans +3 in the under. Yeah, because the Saints defense looks good. The Panthers defense is okay.
All right. Well, the final game of the week, Cleveland at the Steelers, and Cleveland is favored by 2 points with an over-under of 38.5.
Mm-hmm.
Give me Cleveland and give me the over.
Are the Browns as good as we think from last year? Last week?
I don't know, but they're still better than the Steelers.
Definitely better than the Steelers, but they put up 24 points, and their defense looked unbelievable. Like Myles Garrett looked fantastic. Who's the other defensive end?
Zadarius Smith.
Zadarius Smith. The fact that they've got Zadarius Smith, that's what the Browns have been looking for on defense forever. Somebody to complement Myles Garrett. So yeah, give me the Browns win.
And the Browns got weapons for days. Like they
do have weapons. They do have weapons, but they had so much of the ball and they only scored 24 points. Like I really don't think it was as great. But I think they're using Deshaun Watson wrong. Like there was a lot of read pass option. Like keep Deshaun in the pocket and get him to use the thing to your weapons. Deshaun Watson's not a running weapon, realistically, unless they've got him there in the attempt to try and get him injured because of all the bad he's done, and the Browns are trying to sort out a curse. Maybe that's what it is.
Why not give somebody $250 million guaranteed to get him injured? Yeah,
just being playful, you know.
Right.
Yeah. Give me the Browns. Give me the points, but give me the under.
All right. Well, we did it, Maddie. We made it through all our picks.
Yeah, and 5 minutes.
I was just gonna say, and we got 8 minutes to kick off, so that's pretty good.
It's good for us.
Yeah.
Do you remember last season we tried to do these shows an hour before the game, and we would just cut into the game every single time?
Yep, and because of prime time, Deion Sanders game with Colorado, I went to bed really fucking late last night. So I literally woke up 30 minutes before we went on today.
and nobody could tell you still putting a fire, absolutely stellar performance, mate. That's, as always, true professional. Even though we don't get paid, reminder to everybody, if you want to sponsor us so we can get paid and really take this seriously, then that would be amazing. But the most important thing that you could all do is like and subscribe and go follow us on Instagram, where we're trying to get up to 50,000 followers.
Yeah, help us out on here too. We are 82 subscribers away from you being able to give us super chats.
Damn. Holy shit. We're big time. We're on the road to 500 subscribers anyway.
All right, everybody. Well, we'll let you get ready for the game. Go take a piss before kickoff or whatever you need to do.
Classic.
Or as they would say in Ireland, if you got a shite now.
Yeah, if you got a shite now, and if you need to piss early, you know, don't break the seal with all your beer drinking either. That's really important. That's really important.
Hey,
all right.
I literally drink almost a gallon of water a day, so I piss so much I don't even need to add alcohol to that.
Pace yourself, kids. That's Matty's message for the day.
I love how you put kids in there too. Pace yourself, kids. Like,
well, you know, for me, I'm British, so we can drink from 18. Where you're still a kid, really, when you're 18.
Maddie's promoting underage drinking on the show, so go out there and
in the UK.
get hammered. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, all that good shit. Go check out all the other shows. Check us out on Instagram and Rumble. And let us know what you think in the comments of our picks. And enjoy football today.
See you later, guys. Have a good time.
One love. Deuces.
Cheerio.